Well, hello there, Mavericks. This is Rob Reinhold, and it is the end of June, June 29th. We have one trading day left to add to our monthly pip count. Then we close up the books on June, and we look forward. In today's roundup, we are going to be going over today. We're going to break down the numbers of what happened in the markets today. We're going to go through a lot of the stories. Then we're going to take a look at the current market, really looking at for the last 24 hours of this week, what is moving, where do we want to be trading? And then, of course, we're going to be looking for specific trade setups, specific entry points, and specific exit points. So let's jump into it. Would having more trading capital help you meet your trading goals? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop firm. We fund traders just like you with 5- and 6-figure accounts where you keep 70 to 80% of profits. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to start the process. This will take you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position, and you can read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have. After that, if you're interested, fill out an application, and then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video and schedule an interview with our recruiters. Are you our next trader? Today was another up day. So if we take a look at just the numbers here, we see that the S&P was up about 0.5%. The world index, the VT, was really pretty much flat all day long. We see cryptos had a big gain. Look, don't get too excited about that. That was all Bitcoin Cash. For some reason, Bitcoin Cash is a stellar performer, again, just like last week. Gold was flat, and oil bounced up a little bit, but oil is still right around that $70 a barrel. As far as the news goes, some of the news we had overnight was we had the U.S. banks pass the yearly stress test. This is not a huge deal to currency traders, but it definitely was a sigh of relief, meaning that the markets were a little bit worried about this. They passed the stress test. If they failed these stress tests, we would have seen a big tumble in equities, and risk-on assets would have done very well. This is just one of those things to check off the list of no longer need to worry about at the moment. We also got German GDP that was 1/10 better than expected at 0.3%. And then we got the final revision of first quarter US GDP came in well past the estimates of 1.4 of 2%. So this US economy is still growing quite strongly, which when we go to the charts, you can see is showing up in equities. We've been very bullish equities since we saw this breakout here back in May. We had this big run up, we had a base, we had this parabolic move. We said, okay, time to get a little cautious. But we've been talking about this is a pullback. You must buy this pullback. Earlier in the week, we had some risk-off moves on Monday, and you can see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were all up days for the S&P. And not just up days, but good candles. Really good candles, opening at the low, closing at the high. That's showing you that there are a lot of buyers, and even at the close of the day, there's still more people coming into the market than out. If we come over here and look at the VT, this is the world index. We got the breakout as well. Big run up, big pullback, bigger pullback than the S&P. We did get a bounce. Now look, I don't want to take anything away from this. This is a bull pullback. These are decent candles. Gap down, runs up, gap down, runs up. So look, it's telling you that there are still buyers there, but just the difference between the two charts, S&P versus the rest of the world, you can tell the S&P is really outperforming here. And if we come and check in on our crypto basket, this is our proprietary crypto basket where we rank all the cryptos and group them together in one basket. You can see we're high basing. We are high basing. So this is telling me the cryptos don't want to go down. Cryptos are just resting, and the next move is likely going to be higher in cryptos. I know at the first of this week, I was watching Ethereum. Ethereum has had a little bit of a pullback this week, which makes me like it even a little bit better. I would have preferred a base in Ethereum. We're getting a pullback, but we'll definitely take a look at that when we get to the setups. Let's look at each currency and how their daily performance today. We had Bitcoin Cash up 8.4%. Again, no reason. This thing has been up or down 5 to 65% in a week over the last 2 weeks. Look, there's a lot of volatility right there. I'm just not playing with it. I'm looking at some other currencies. You can see they had a decent run today, right around 1%, 1.5%. We come over here to the currency market, and the currency market was really flat today. Now look, there's always movement. There's always movement. but I'm always looking for like 1%. For me, I need to see a 1% move for it to be an interesting day. You can see here, if I was in the best currency cross, I was short Euro Aussie. That would be my absolute best trade I could have possibly made on the 8 major currencies. That does not equal 1%. That's about 0.8%. This is a really small move. And if you start to take a look at other stuff, hey, I was playing pound dollar, there's nothing there. I was playing pound yen, there's nothing there. There was very little opportunity to make money in Forex today, and hopefully everyone was sitting on the sidelines waiting. I do think we have a good period of time coming up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next 24 hours specifically. We just talked about equities. This pullback on the S&P is a really nice pullback, and these candles are really nice candles closing at the high. We expect this move to keep going. We expect it to keep going. We are at a +3 on equities. We like equities. However, we've been talking about how usually when you get a +3 on equities, you're getting the growth currencies, the Aussie, the Kiwi, and sometimes the CAD really cranking, and they're not. So we've been talking about what is moving, and we've been talking about, well, dollar and euro have had a good week this week. But let's take a look specifically over these next 24 hours. So if we take a look and see what is on the calendar for the next 24 hours, there is one report that I think is going to be a major report, and this is China's PMI. China has started to slow down again. And you can see we were up to 54.5. Estimates are for 53.7. If this slows even more, this could put a little bit of a damper on this good news in equities and put a little bit of pressure on growth currencies like the Aussie and Kiwi. This is at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. If you're counting on trading on the next 24 hours, you need to watch this report because I think this is the report that is the catalyst to get things moving. The only other thing I could take a look at, we've got 2 other reports tomorrow morning. We got Canadian GDP. If you are playing with the CAD, you need to be aware of that. And then, in my opinion, the US Core PCE Price Index is also a real market mover. So as you can see here, we've got China news tonight, and then we've got 2 reports tomorrow morning that should give us a lot more energy. I like today's lineup, the next 24 hours lineup, much better than the last 24 hours lineup. I am going to be looking to be active when it comes to trading. Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application, then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video, and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader? So let's jump in and break down each currency one by one and find out which ones are the strongest and weakest. Let's start out with the cryptocurrencies. Here we have Bitcoin. And you can see Bitcoin has a really nice high base going on here. So we're just simply waiting. We're saying, okay, right now we are not going anywhere. This is on a 4-hour chart. I've got a 13 EMA that's telling me, hey, momentum is still to the upside. I got parabolic SAR that's still to the upside. I've got an RSI that's backing off a little bit, but still in bullish territory. We are simply waiting for a breakout. So we're going to rank this one as a pretty strong currency. I'm going to rank this one as like a +2. Bitcoin Cash is a full-on +3. Look, this one moves. It's been moving a ton. You can see it goes from moving not at all to moving a ton. This one, if you're going to play it and you play it on the long side, you have to understand it's a shorter term trade. It's a momentum trade. And as soon as that momentum leaves, you got to bail. But you can still play it to the upside. It's showing the most strength right now. So if someone said, Rob, I want to do a crypto trade right now, I'd say go with Bitcoin Cash, but be careful. Get in, grab what you can, and get the heck out. Here is Ethereum. We're getting the same thing on Ethereum. We're getting this high base here. You can see it's up against some major resistance. We really need to clear out of this 1535 area. So we'll take a look at Ethereum when we get into that section. But again, we've had a big run and we've just cooled off a bit. This is a very bullish sign here when you have a massive run from 1100 to 2000 and it only backs off like 100, 150 points. That is very, very bullish here. So I still like Ethereum. It's just not ready to go yet. And Litecoin has had the biggest pullback between Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. So I'm really looking at either a Bitcoin trade or an Ethereum trade. But you've got to get the breakout on these. Let's take a look and score the currencies. Here we have the dollar. The dollar has moved back up into this upper range. It is showing bullish price action. Look, the last two candles haven't been great. We had a big run up. Two candles, that's fine, because look, we got the same thing over here. Two candles and then a breakout to the upside. If you're going to play dollar, you've got to play it to the upside. Dollar for me is a +2. We like the yen on the short side. Now look, the yen has been getting clobbered. And we said, look, there's no reason to think that this move is over. And sure enough, we have sunk even more this week. And look at what we're getting. A low base on yen. This is as -3 as a -3 can get. When we get to -3s or +3s, we have to understand we're likely running up to the end of a wave. But at the end of the wave is when they get the most intense price action. So on a shorter term trade, I like yen short quite a bit. I also talked about euro in the currency room over the last weekend. And I said, hey, I really like the euro, how it's looking. And the euro has done fantastically this week. We came up, hit a resistance point. Look, we're just backing off. But for me, euro is still absolutely in play. Rising EMA, rising parabolic SAR, RSI is backed off. To me, euro is still a buy. We just have to wait for it to pull back and show us some bullish price action. Swiss franc, also having a decent week, up against some major resistance here. Look, if Swiss franc can break out, I'll grab it. But for me, it's just right up against this resistance. My guess is this is more going to be a trade for next week instead of this week. So Swiss franc at a +2. Look at this pound. Now, whenever you look at a chart like this, I want you to see this has been a frustrating trade. Look at all the higher and upper shadows, upper and lower shadows. We've had several days where it looks like pound was breaking out. It hasn't. It's failed every time. So here we are backing off a little bit. Look, this is a tough trade. And I think if you take this trade, you have to understand that we don't know when it's going to break out. And so when you get in, if you get in on a breakout, you have to be able to sit through these pullbacks. Or else you just can't trade the pound right now. You just can't trade the pound until we get 1 or 2 candles up above the breakout point. Then you can be a little bit more confident. Yes, it's going to be a little later in the cycle, but right now, if you're looking to be long pound, you have to be patient on this. And if you're only looking to hold for one more day, I just don't think you can trade pound. Next week, I think the pound is back on the table for a good trade. We do have some news on the CAD coming out. And boy, I love this chart. I absolutely love this chart. High bases are my favorite. Runs up. We haven't sold off. We've just high based. For me, this thing's ready to go. I am definitely watching CAD tomorrow. And this is the CAD basket. We'll take a look at some individual Canadian dollar trades. It's just waiting. It's just pausing here for the last 24 hours, building up some energy before it can break out. Taking a look at the Aussie. Aussie's not great. Look, we had a little bit of a bounce here. We've had little bounces, but this is all the way back down into some levels here. Yes, we are getting close to a support line. But if we come in here to like a 4-hour chart, nothing is telling us to buy. We had a little rally here. When I take a look at this on a momentum basis, Aussie is more negative than positive. So I'm at a -1 on Aussie. We come over here to the Kiwi, and you can see it looks even worse. To me, this Kiwi looks fantastic. We are low basing here. We fell. We're just going sideways here. When this thing breaks down, it's telling me to be short. So I'm going to give the Kiwi here a -2. Here we are with the rankings here. Bitcoin Cash is showing the most momentum to the upside at a +3. I've talked about that one. If you want to chase it, fine. Just understand you're playing with fire. Yes, you might make some bucks, but just be ready to go when the momentum ends. +2, we've got the CAD and Euro. I really like both of these trade setups. I like the CAD number 1 and Euro number 2. Euro's still pulling back. CAD is just basing. It's just waiting to break out. And on the weak side, we've got Yen and Kiwi. So I'm looking to pair up CAD Yen, Kiwi CAD. I'm looking to pair up Euro against the Yen and the Kiwi as well. Let's take a look at those trades and let's see if we can find any possible entry points for the next 24 hours. My favorite trade setup is CAD Yen. CAD Yen is looking great here. Let me just move this down here. Look at this. We've got this long high base going. It looks beautiful here. We've got this upper trend line and we've got some resistance up here. Everything is looking to be triggered. We have the EMA, the 13 EMA has backed off and starting to turn up. We've got parabolic SARs that have now triggered. We got an RSI that's starting to work its way up. Look, I like this trade right here, right now. Here's the problem. We do have overhead resistance at 109.50. Right now, we're at 109.20. Understand that we could hit this 109.50 and back off and not break out at all this week. So you have to decide, okay, how do I want to play this? If you are looking to only play this over the next 24 hours, understand we have a GDP report tomorrow morning. I would not be surprised if the CAD went sideways until we got that GDP report. If you want to try to grab this after the GDP report, I fully support that. Have an order sticking out there, 109.55, somewhere around there. We probably don't have enough time to make it all the way up to the top of this trend line this week, but I think it could be a good trade. If you did want to get in a little early, I would say take a third of a position or a half a position into the news report. Maybe you might get some drifting up tonight where it breaks out, which would be a really nice position to be in. I love to have a profit in the bank going into a major announcement. It is the best place to be because look, if the announcement goes against you, you get out and you break even or only make a little bit. Big deal. If the news announcement goes your way, you get another 100 pip pop and it's very easy and comfortable to sit through that news report. So CAD Yen to me looks really good. I'm going to take a look at the other one, Euro Kiwi. So I played Euro Kiwi once this week. I played this on this breakout here, and it was a fantastic trade. Had a nice pullback. As you can see here, we now are just pulling back here on Euro Kiwi. I still like this trade. As you can see, we're just getting this, I guess we'd call this more of a pullback than a base. The question is, when is it going to give us a buy signal? At this point, we have no buy signal. There is no buy signal on the horizon. The earliest you could buy this is if it broke this little downtrend line. I think it's too early to buy this one here. I would much rather see a parabolic SAR get triggered or some other thing. So for me, look, I like this trade, and this is probably my number one trade for next week. It probably just doesn't have enough time to develop over the next 24 hours for me. So that is Euro Kiwi. Let's take a look at one last one because I do like Kiwi short and I do like CAD long. So this here is the Kiwi CAD short. As you can see, extreme weakness. We are now dropping below these levels. Look, I would like to see a couple more candles of base and a drop. So a entry point at 80.30 could be a possibility. And then play that out based on, hey, do I want to hold it just for the next 24 hours or do I want to hold it into next week? That will determine where your stop placement is going to go. Let's wrap this up. We are heading into the end of the month. We are going into a slow start of the week next week with the US holiday. So look, don't be an idiot, but hey, look, I think it's going to be a really good trading session for the next 24 hours. And then I think Monday and Tuesday aren't going to be all that great. I think next week is really a Wednesday through Friday story. China PMI will move the markets tonight. So if you are going to be trading, I think you want to watch that news, and I think you can make a good trade off that news as the energy comes into the market at 9:30 p.m. And as always, have proper position sizing. Thanks for joining me for the currency wrap-up. Goodbye, everybody.